Hi, I'm Coco, and at 23, I was diagnosed with stage 2 blood cancer. I mean, diagnosis is a bit of a stretch because it was my doctor saying, oh, she feels some swollen lymph nodes, and that led to an ultrasound, which led to MRI, which led to a CT scan, which led to one, two, three biopsies and a surgery. So it was a journey to be diagnosed, but I made it through. I'm alive and I'm well, and I'm so happy I went through the journey. And so this video is for you if you're newly diagnosed, or if you have someone in your life that you love dearly that has been diagnosed and you're worried, your stomach has sunk. Maybe you're in that in between phase where like the doctors haven't really told you what's going on. You guys don't know what's going on. There's tumors, there's a problem. It's just feeling like death is near. I have been there, and I am here to hold your hand and to tell you that it is going to be okay. Not only is it going to be okay, but if you allow it, it will be a rebirthing. And I know it's hard to maybe think of it like that in this moment because cancer is a hard diagnosis. So many stories have ended with cancer, and so many people's stories have been negatively impacted for what feels like forever by this disease. People die, people suffer. And so I understand why we worry and why fear is planted in us. But I want to challenge you to take that fear out of you. Cancer, whoever it is, whether it's you or a family member or a friend or a loved one, does not have to be an end story. It does not have to mean death. You do not have to be afraid at all. This can be a rebirthing, a recalling to yourself, your innermost self that you've probably been ignoring, probably been betraying, probably hasn't paid much attention to. This can be an opportunity to really evaluate what is important, to really reevaluate your life. It can be a calling. And when I say it can be a calling, whether you believe in God or not, it could be God or whatever you believe in calling you to get back to who you are supposed to be, right? Cancer is a disruptor for a reason. And it can be a way to help you realize that you are on the wrong track and you need to get back to what your life purpose is and what's important to you, what's true to you, and what's healthy for you, your spirit, your body, your mind, all these things that are connected. Cancer tells you that things must change, whether it's your lifestyle, the things you're eating, the people you're hanging out with, the negativity you're consuming, or whatever you're consuming, something gotta change. And so with this diagnosis, it's about how do I now shift my life towards healing? How do I now shift my perspective towards healing? How do I now help this person I love heal? Let's not think about the sad end stories. Let's not think about death. Let's think about healing and our path there, because there is a path. The purpose of this video is to give you a positive data source, a source of data that says it does not have to be that road of fear that everything and everyone makes you believe it has to be. And that clicking in your mind, believing that on the onset, will make your journey so much different because it will be a path towards healing instead of a path of running away from something that is changing your life for a reason. I remember before I was diagnosed, when I had knowledge that there were all these tumors in my neck, my chest growing, and that they were like, it could be lymphoma, it could be this, it could be that. And I started searching stuff on YouTube, TikTok, Google, all the things. And I just saw immense suffering. And I was so scared. Like, I remember there's this girl, and God bless her. I pray that the Lord perfects her healing. There was this girl, and she got diagnosed with some type of lymphoma, and she never got cured. Like, she was consistently on chemo for like until the foreseeable future. Like, it was just not going away. And I said, Jay, I said, God, I remember that shaking me to my boots. And I'm sure as you're going on this journey, for you or your loved one, you're seeing so much suffering, so much death, so much like sadness and grieving, and so much fear. And there was never a story out there that made me feel like, OMG, like, this is something that I can conquer. This is something that I can overcome. It's going to be a struggle at times. It's going to be hard. It's going to push my endurance, but like, it's going to be fine. And so I want this to be that video for you, for the person you love. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I had an incredible journey. It was a rebirthing for me, and not to say it wasn't hard. It was very hard, right? It's going to have it's going to be challenging, right? Because your body is fighting really hard to keep you alive, which you have to thank it for. But it was a journey that completely changed the trajectory of my life. Completely, because I let it. Okay, so I remember watching those TikToks, the YouTube videos, the Reddits, all of it, right? And literally thinking like, wow, this is going to be impossible. But my journey was much different. Okay, so let's talk about starting chemo. One of the immense privileges I had on this journey was having great health care and access to medication. And so the chemo I had was ABDV. And ABDV is known for treating the type of lymphoma I was diagnosed with. And while I was going through that journey, I remember being like, OMG, this chemo is going to kill me. I see people, they're bald, they're scrawny, they're ugly, they're dull, they're gray. It's going to be terrible. Like, I'm gonna make it on the other side, but this is gonna be immense and great suffering, and I'm gonna lose all my hair. I'm just gonna be a shell of myself. Like, and I was like, dang, even though I'm gonna make it through, I'm scared. I'm scared of this like journey. Like, I'm so scared of the medication. I'm so scared of what it could do to me. So number one, I didn't lose my hair. I did not lose my hair after going through one of the most rigorous chemotherapy regimens ever. Like, I didn't lose my hair. And when I tell you, my doctors, my nurses, everyone was like, this is a miracle. But like, I'm gonna put some videos on screen. I'm looking at them right now, but this was me a month into chemo, like at the hospital, and I had braids in, but then I took out the braids and my hair was fine. Like, I'm going to also put in a picture of me in a hair mask. And then I'm also going to put in a video of me. This is December 1st, and this is just me, my hair slicked back, right? And everyone, right? At least what I see, everyone loses their hair when they're on chemo, especially for blood cancer, right? Because blood is everywhere. So your chemo is basically just like beep, 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 killing everything, okay? And I remember, guys, I remember on my first consultation with my doctor, I was like, when am I gonna lose my hair? And he looked at me and he was like, we're going to save your life. And I said, oh, I got it. Sorry. I'm a woman. Hair, we know how our hair makes us feel. It makes us feel beautiful. And not to say that like if you lose your hair, this means you're not this or that. You probably will lose your hair in chemo, but I just want a data reference for people out there to give them hope that, oh, maybe I don't have to lose my hair. Because other than the miraculous nature of our Lord, there's no reason why I shouldn't have. Another thing I'm gonna share with y'all is me ringing the bell. So this is footage from my last chemo appointment. Happy, praising, like looking like a full person, okay? Like, skin is not dull. I look healthy, I look well, and I have a head full of hair. I have nurses telling me, we've never had a patient go through your treatment and ring the bell with hair on their head. But here I am. It is possible. And that's just one part of it. Another part of it was while I was on the journey, right? You're pretty low energy when you're on chemo, but I had some energy to do some of the things that I did care about. I wrote an investment thesis that was really important for like my interests and my mind. I would take my little sister to her like events and be with her all the time. I'd spent a lot more time with family. And so you can reframe this journey, and doing those things kept me in a positive, upbeat attitude. And I spent a lot of time praying and fasting. They don't recommend you fast while you're going through chemo, but I was praying and fasting while I was going through chemo, and I looked like a normal person. Like, I remember I was isolated most of the time, but whenever I did once in a while meet up with a friend or meet up with someone else because of whatever reason, they were like, I would have never guessed. For example, I met with a mother and daughter, and the daughter had had the same cancer diagnosis that I had, and we were in a cafe for 15 minutes on separate sides. We saw each other, but we didn't know who was who. So I finally emailed them, like, oh, like, I'm here, by the way, I'm wearing this. And so they come over, they're like, OMG, we didn't think it could be you because you look so, and they're like, we don't want to say it, but you look so healthy. This is crazy. How? You look so healthy. Are you going to lose your hair? You have all your hair. It was crazy. When I tell you, I thought I was going to be looking like a skeleton shell of myself, because that's what you see. But I looked nothing like that. I looked bright, and I looked normal, and I looked okay. And that just goes to show that there is possibility for you, for your loved one, to still have life in them while they are fighting, to still have a bit of time to do the things they care about, you know, that brings them joy, that brings them love, that uplifts them as they're going through such a hard journey. So instead of cancer being this thing that I equated to death and falling apart, instead of my chemotherapy journey being one completely filled with fear and negativity and pessimism and just like darkness, it was completely opposite. Cancer for me was a rebirthing of myself. My chemotherapy journey was one of light and positivity. Was it hard? Yes. Was there nights where I was in pain? Absolutely. Was there days where I would only wake up for like an hour or two? Yes. There were weeks where I would literally just sleep. Sleep. But within all of that, it doesn't have to be this complete and utter darkness that I feel like is the only real image we're shown. And so I'm just gonna place like some footage. I remember in January I ran 3 miles. This is like what, 2-3 months into chemo, probably 5 to 6 cycles in. I ran 3 miles up a hill, y'all. I'll put in that video. And I remember I told my doctor, he was like, be careful now, but wow, I'm proud of you. And it's that, right? And of course, I feel like as a disclaimer, I have to say that everyone's body is different. My journey is not going to be yours. And if your journey looks differently, if it's more of a struggle in some aspects, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. That doesn't mean you're not positive enough. That doesn't mean you don't have faith. We all fight through it in different ways, right? And so please don't compare yourself to me. Just use this data point as a possibility for hope, as a connection to someone who has been through what you're going through, or what the person you love is going through, and use it as a source for positivity on days that you feel like you can't do this. So this is going to be a whole series, but in this video, I want to talk about the mindset you should really come into as you have been diagnosed, you're going to be diagnosed, you're going through chemo, you're going through cancer, your loved one is, right? So what you think, what you believe, and thoughts that you ponder for an extended amount of time will be your reality. And it will 100% determine your ability to heal in this journey. And so while I say use this as a positive data point, it's more like, yes, you have to be positive, but you have to have faith, like a deep knowing that you are going to be okay. And that doesn't mean that sometimes you don't have doubt, right? That doesn't mean that sometimes you don't question, but it just means that there's something in you that just feels like, I'm not even gonna stress, I'm not even gonna worry, I'm gonna be fine. That is that kind of deep knowing that you must carry on throughout this, right? You must know that this is a tunnel. It's not a closed dead end at the end, right? There's gonna be light. But yeah, like, I knew I was gonna be okay, and in knowing that I was gonna be okay, I was also extremely grateful. Every morning I woke up and I opened my eyes and nothing happened during the night. I wasn't awake because of pain. Even when I was awake because of pain, I was grateful to feel that pain. I was grateful for suffering. I was grateful for everything. Every single breath that came out of my mouth, I was grateful for, right? Because nothing makes you re-inspect life and have a honest respect and a honest gratitude for living the experience that life is, like something like this that, you know, can threaten to take it away, essentially, right? And so while you're going through the journey, you need to be acting from a state of gratitude. You can't think about the things you've lost. You can't think about the things that have gone. You can't think about the friends that ain't there, the family members that ain't supporting. You can't think about the financials. You just need to be grateful for what you do have, right? Because you are alive. I think a good way to put this into perspective is if you've ever lost somebody, and that you if you've ever lost somebody that you love so dearly, how much would you love for them to just have one more day on this earth, even if it's a bad day, right? Even if it's a day where someone hit their car and people at work were so annoying and it was just a bad day. Wouldn't you give anything just to have them on a bad day, right? And so think about your life in the same way, right? Whether there's things going on that bother you, that spark negative emotions within you, be grateful that you are alive. Be grateful that you get to experience a bad day. It is a privilege to experience pain. It's a privilege. It's in that you know what goodness is, you know? And a part of this mindset shift that is so important is accountability. As an adult, right? I'm not talking about kids that are diagnosed, but as an adult, a lot of your life and your decisions can either contribute to you getting sicker or contribute to your healing. And this can be so many things. It can be spiritual, emotional, it can be physical, right? Like on the spiritual, emotional, are you holding a grudge? Do you have deep-seated resentment? Are you angry about something? Things that we suppress that we think doesn't go anywhere. Energy is real. Energy has weight, right? Weight that we can't see, but it's very real. There's the fun fact that if you were to weigh everything on Earth and add it all together, all the way down to the Earth's core, the Earth's mass will still be a lot more. Why? Because there are things that we cannot see, touch, measure that weight, that are weighty, okay? There are things of this earth that are bigger and make it heavier than we could ever imagine, and that is energy. So if you have something deep within you that is dark, that is negative, that is resentful, that is a grudge, that is anger, that is hatred, it's only going to make you sicker. Another thing could be, are you addicted to stress? Are you in toxic relationships and friendships and family ships, right? Are you eating terrible foods because you have an emotional attachment to junk food from, like, are you taking the right supplements? Are you living in the right place for you? Are you mean to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? You know, a part of this healing journey, something I did every day was literally talk to my cells. And I'll make a whole nother video about that. But these are the kind of things that you need to take accountability for and shift if they are on the negative side, because those are the kind of things that are going to make this a healing journey that is sustainable, that will last the rest of your life, instead of a journey of despair and suffering. And for me, to really keep this mindset requires faith. So, so a little fun fact about me, whether you're religious or not, you don't believe in organized religion, or you're just on a different path in life, understand if you're like, I'm about to click out this video, fine, but Jesus is everything for me. And I do not say that lightly, because I was diagnosed in September, but in August I went to this church event, forced to go to this church event. And that incited me renouncing Islam, which I grew up Muslim my whole life, giving my life to Christ, and really being built on having faith in God and His word over my life, His promises of healing, of beauty, of love, of grace, of forgiveness, of compassion. And regardless of where you are in your journey of religion, it's really important, I think, to have faith in a higher power, to understand that there is God and there's a reason this is happening, right? Understanding that there's a reason that this is happening is what's going to make you accountable for changing your life, right? It's going to make you accountable to making the right decisions, to not be in the same spot, and to get towards healing forever. So you or your loved one who is going through this really hard journey, I hope you know, not only are you going to be okay, but it is not a long road of suffering. Allow it to be your rebirth. Allow it to be a road that gets you back to your innermost true self. Allow it to be a road that gets you back to living a life that is truly healthy for you. Um, I'm excited for how you're going to make it through this, how your loved one is going to make it through this. I'm excited for your testimonies and your journeys. I am going to make more videos about like visualizing through cancer, what I ate, vitamins, supplements, things I did to stay active, and just like different things to really think about as you're going through the chemo journey. And as all the YouTubers say, please subscribe, like, share, comment, share it with your loved ones, share it with people you want to say, I care about you and you're going to make it through this. You're going to kick cancer's butt. Yeah. And does YouTube have DMs? If YouTube has DMs, DM me. I don't know if YouTube has DMs. If they don't, DM me on TikTok. I answer DMs on TikTok.